Okay, so everyone's sending us all these articles, comparing DeepSeek and ChatGPT and Gemini, like all the big AI players in 2025.
Yeah,
And it's a lot to take in.
it is.
I mean, trying to keep up with AI right now, it's like drinking from a fire hose.
Really is.
So that's what we're here for.
Exactly.
This deep dive, we're going to give you like the cheat sheet, like what are the real differences?
Right.
Why should you even care?
Mm-hmm.
And which one is like the best one, the top dog?
Yeah. Who wins this whole thing?
Spoiler alert. It depends.
It always depends.
So first, let's just like really quickly introduce these contenders.
Okay.
DeepSeek, ChatGPT, Gemini. Who are these guys? And what's their whole deal?
Sounds good.
So DeepSeek, this is the like open source kind of underdog
Yeah.
coming out of China.
Interesting.
And they're really focused on like efficiency and actually like solving real world problems.
Yeah, like practical stuff.
Yeah, they're not just like chasing the shiny new tech thing.
Right.
Then you've got ChatGPT. This is like the OG,
Yeah.
conversational AI.
Mm-hmm. The one everyone knows.
Everyone's using it.
Yeah.
It's known for like creative text, and it's really good at, actually like chatting.
Right. Like having a conversation.
Yeah, it feels very familiar, like that friend who always has a story,
I get it.
And then there's Gemini.
Okay, big one.
This is Google's like AI multi-tool. It does text, images, audio, video. It's like integrated with everything Google.
Yeah.
So it feels really powerful,
Does.
but also maybe a little bit corporate,
A little bit, yeah.
So let's start with DeepSeek.
Okay.
This whole efficiency thing is like their main thing.
Okay.
Like they built this DeepSeek R1. This is their newest model
Uh-huh.
for like $6 million.
$6 million.
Which is crazy because you think about what like Google and Microsoft and all these companies are spending.
Hundreds of millions, billions,
Yeah,
probably.
it's insane.
It's wild.
So is DeepSeek onto something, or are the big guys just like throwing money around for no reason?
Right? Good.
What do you think?
Well, I mean, it definitely makes you think about like, how much money really needs to go into this stuff.
Yeah.
Is it all about just like, bigger is better, or can you actually be really smart and efficient about it?
Yeah.
So it's interesting.
It's a really interesting question.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing that DeepSeek is doing that's really interesting is they're going all in on open source.
Ah, okay.
So anybody can access their models, anybody can tinker with them, even contribute to them.
So it's like they're releasing the AI recipe book to the whole world.
Exactly.
Wow.
So it's like the Linux of the AI world.
Linux, yeah.
Open source operating system powers a huge chunk of the internet.
I mean, that changed things.
Yeah. So could this open source approach like totally change the game for AI?
I mean, it could really speed things up, right?
Yeah.
Because if you have way more people working on the problem.
Yeah, not just the people inside Google or whatever.
Exactly. More brains, the better.
And DeepSeek isn't just cheap and open.
Right.
Like their models are actually really powerful.
Okay.
Like DeepSeek V3, this one was trained on 14.8 trillion tokens.
Okay, now we're talking.
Which, to put that in perspective, that's like feeding the AI the entire Library of Congress
Wow.
multiple times over.
So it's seen a lot of data.
A lot of data.
Okay.
So we've got this underdog coming out of China building powerful AI on a tiny budget. And they're like inviting everyone to the party.
I like it.
But of course, no AI is perfect, right?
Of course not.
DeepSeek still has some work to do when it comes to images and audio.
Okay.
Like they're mainly focused on text right now.
Got it.
And, there's also the whole geopolitical thing to think about.
Great. China.
Yeah, DeepSeek's Chinese, so it does raise some questions about,
Influence.
yeah, like influence from the Chinese government, maybe?
And their approach to data privacy, too.
That's true.
It's a big deal.
As with any powerful technology, I think it's really important to think about,
Yeah, implications.
yeah, the implications and the risks.
For sure.
But even with all that, DeepSeek is definitely shaking things up.
Yeah, they're making the big guys nervous.
Yeah, they're making the whole AI establishment pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
It's a story we're going to be watching closely.
Definitely. All right, so let's talk about ChatGPT.
Okay, the chatbot.
Yeah, if DeepSeek is like the efficient workhorse,
Right.
ChatGPT is the smooth talker.
Uh-huh.
Like this is the AI that can actually like have a conversation.
I was actually playing with it the other day.
Oh yeah.
I was stuck on this writing project,
Okay.
and I just like started bouncing ideas off of ChatGPT just for fun.
Just to see.
Yeah. And I was surprised at like how natural it felt.
Really?
Yeah, like the back and forth. It wasn't just like,
Like spitting out facts.
yeah, it felt more like I was like brainstorming with like a colleague or something.
Right, someone who's read everything.
Yeah, exactly. But like someone who's actually like listening and responding.
Yeah, and that's one of ChatGPT's like biggest strengths,
Mm-hmm.
It's designed to be conversational.
Yeah.
Like it wants to engage with you
Yeah.
in a way that feels more human.
Yet it didn't feel like I was talking to a machine,
Exactly.
which is kind of the point, right?
I mean, that's the goal.
Yeah.
And it's not just text anymore.
Well,
ChatGPT's gone multimodal,
multimodal.
which means it can understand and generate images and audio too.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah,
Multimodal. That sounds very techy.
it does.
What does that actually mean, like, for someone using ChatGPT?
So imagine, like, you could upload a photo to ChatGPT and be like, hey, write me a story about this photo.
Oh, wow.
Or you could have it, like, compose music based on a poem you wrote.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah, that's the power of multimodal AI.
So it's like having an AI partner in crime.
Kind of, yeah, like for all your creative projects.
And even if you're not like a programmer or whatever,
Yeah.
ChatGPT is actually pretty easy to use, right?
Yeah, they've really focused on making it user-friendly, so
Yeah.
anyone can use it.
Which is good, because not everyone wants to be a programmer.
Exactly.
But even ChatGPT has its limitations.
It does.
I've heard some stories about, like, AI hallucinations.
Oh, yeah, or just make stuff up.
Yeah, and it sounds really convincing.
But it's totally wrong.
Yeah.
That's definitely a thing.
And you can't just believe everything it says.
No, you gotta be careful.
You still need to, like, use your own brain.
Exactly. Double check the facts.
And also, like, a lot of the best features of ChatGPT you have to pay for, right?
Yeah, the subscription model.
It's like the gym membership for AI.
Kinda.
Okay, so we've got DeepSeek, the open source, kind of scrappy innovator, ChatGPT, the conversational AI that makes all this stuff easier to use.
Yeah.
Now let's bring in the big gun,
Heavyweight.
Gemini.
Google's-
coming in.
Yeah, Google's AI powerhouse.
Yeah, this is their big one.
So Gemini is like a multi-tool, right?
Yeah, it's designed to handle like everything, text, images,
Yeah.
audio, video.
The whole shebang.
Yeah, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, and one of the things that sets it apart is this thing called a context window.
Ah, yes, the context window.
Okay, another tech term.
I know.
Help me out here. Okay, so imagine you're talking to someone
Okay.
who has like a really bad short-term memory.
Okay.
Like they can only remember the last couple things you said,
Uh-huh.
so they're constantly losing track of the conversation.
They're like, what were we talking about?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's kind of like what it's like for most AIs. Like
Yeah.
their context window is really limited.
And they forget what you were just talking about.
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
But Gemini has a much bigger context window,
Okay.
so it can remember and process way more information.
So it's like having an AI with like a photographic memory.
Kind of, yeah. It can hold on to all those little details and connections
Like-
that other AIs might miss.
And of course it's Google, so it's like totally integrated with everything Google.
Okay, yeah, search docs, everything.
So if you're like living in the Google world,
Right, if you're a Google person,
probably pretty amazing.
it's super convenient.
Yeah.
Like imagine being able to just like pull info from your drop, have Gemini analyze it, and then like draft a presentation and slides.
All without breaking a sweat.
Exactly, it's all connected.
That's pretty slick.
Yeah, and another thing Gemini's really good at is document processing.
Okay.
It's like having an AI research assistant
Oh, wow.
that can read and understand like really complicated documents.
Even better than like those OCR things.
Way better.
So it can actually like make sense of those like dense reports and contracts and research papers.
Yeah, all that stuff that would take you forever to read.
The stuff that makes my eyes glaze over.
Exactly. Gemini can just like pull out the key info, summarize it, even answer questions about it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So if you work with a lot of documents,
Ah,
it's a game changer.
sounds like it.
Mm-hmm.
But is it all sunshine and roses?
Huh? Well,
I mean, even with all this power and integration,
right.
Gemini must have some downsides, right?
Of course. No AI is perfect.
Okay.
Even Gemini.
So like, what are we talking about?
Well, there have been some issues with accuracy. You know, it's still under development.
So they can still make mistakes.
Yeah, you can get things wrong sometimes.
So that whole like AI hallucination thing we were talking about with ChatGPT,
Uh-huh.
does that apply to Gemini too?
Yeah, definitely.
So you can't just blindly trust it.
No, you gotta double check.
Always double check.
Especially if you're using it for something important.
Yeah, like making big decisions or whatever.
Right, exactly.
And let's be real,
Mm-hmm.
Google's a business.
They are.
Do you think they're gonna like try to hide all the best Gemini features behind a paywall?
I mean, it's definitely possible.
Like we're seeing with some of these other AIs?
Yeah, as these tools get more powerful and more useful,
Mm-hmm.
the companies are gonna wanna make money off of them.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's a business.
So we've got these three contenders.
Very big players.
DeepSeek, the scrappy innovator all about efficiency and open access.
Uh-huh.
ChatGPT, the conversational AI, making all this stuff easier for normal people to use.
Right.
And then Gemini, the Google powerhouse with all its integration and that crazy context window.
Yeah, they're all bringing something different to the table.
But how do they actually, like, stack up against each other?
Well, one way to look at it is to compare their performance on, like, some standard benchmarks. Like, there was this table in one of the articles you said
Okay.
that compares them on things like reasoning, math language, understanding, factuality, even coding ability.
So it's like a scorecard for AI.
Kind of, yeah.
So who wins?
Well, it's not really about finding a single winner.
Okay.
It depends what you're looking for.
So, like, give me an example.
Okay, so if you need, like, the best chatbot experience, like you want something that can have a really natural conversation, ChatGPT might still be the best choice.
Okay.
But if you're doing, like, really complicated technical stuff,
Like coding or data analysis,
yeah, DeepSeek actually performs really well,
even though it's cheaper.
even though it's cheaper and open source. And then if you're, like, super deep in the Google ecosystem,
Yeah.
you're using all the Google apps all the time.
Yeah.
Gemini might make the most sense just because it's so integrated.
Okay, so no clear winner.
Right.
But that's actually pretty exciting, right?
It is.
It means more choice,
More competition.
which hopefully means more innovation.
Exactly. A rising tide lifts all boats.
I like that.
Yeah.
So, what's the big takeaway for our listeners today?
I think the biggest thing is that the power dynamic in AI is changing.
Okay.
It's not just the big tech companies controlling everything anymore.
Because of things like DeepSeek.
Yeah. Open source projects are really shaking things up.
So it's becoming more democratic.
Exactly. More people have access to these powerful tools.
And that could lead to some really interesting things, right?
Absolutely.
Like, imagine a world where AI is being developed not just for profit, but by, like, a global community of people,
Yeah, researchers, developers, just people who are passionate about AI.
all working together to solve big problems.
That's a cool thought.
It's a really cool thought.
Yeah.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have
DeepSeek, ChatGPT, Gemini.
the big three.
What are your final thoughts?
You know, for me, the big takeaway is that AI isn't just some far-off futuristic thing anymore.
It's here.
It's here. It's changing the world right now.
And it's moving fast.
Super fast.
So we all need to, like, stay informed and stay curious.
Definitely.
And most importantly, stay engaged in the conversation.
Absolutely.
So keep exploring, keep learning, and as always, let us know what you think about the future of AI.